How's it going, friends and family of the internet? Welcome to the Real AFTV podcast, show about fishing and random takes on a normal schedule. Me and Tim are in a ranty mood. Hopefully we can keep this thing on the rails and not go 2 hours. This is our Thanksgiving special. I'm one of your hosts, Josh LaBaw.
And I am surprised. I am Tim Wagner, and I legitimately, I hope people don't see this as like some sort of an act where I'm trying to jump and just be like, ooh, ooh, like that right there. That was acting, not good acting. I was trying to not be perfect about it or whatever, but
right, exaggerate.
I legitimately, like, Josh was like, we're gonna start recording. I'm like, all right. And I just keep talking and just be like, oh, you meant like right now. Damn, like I get caught off guard for real. And
like, nah, I hit the button. The timer's running.
We're going. So shit.
So
my bad.
We're in it. This is our Thanksgiving special. I'm gonna pop a little drink.
Okay. All right.
I mostly because I wanted to show you my decanter that I got, that my wife got me.
Ooh, nice. You know what's been sitting down here that I haven't had for a while is
that NBA Hennessy, dude.
Might as well make a little toast to the Wolves because they've been killing it lately.
Yeah,
last night was a little bit rough.
Yeah, I saw the highlights.
Last night we lost, but it was on a back-to-back, and we were playing the Suns, who have Devin Booker coming off of an injury, so he's fresh. Like he's been not playing, I think, all season. It might have been his first game of the year.
Wow.
Yeah, but before that, 7-game win streak, and our record currently is 8-3.
Yeah, I heard that.
So,
and that was coming off. That was coming off a fight night, though, too.
Fight night.
The loss was.
Yeah, that was crazy.
That was different, huh?
I'm sure everybody talked about it already, so we don't need to touch it.
No.
I'll just say, like, I didn't like Draymond Green's mouth breathing ass before the fight. And I sure as shit don't like him afterwards. He got suspended for 5 games without pay. So he's losing like $800,000.
Yeah, I was going to say, that's a lot more than the 25 G's that everybody else got fined.
Everybody else got. And why the fuck did Rudy get fined $25,000 because he got choked? What the hell is that, dude? I don't get it.
You in there? You're in the fight? You're in the fight. You're guilty.
I think... Not going into the whole thing, but I think the only reason he gets fined is because he tried to break up the fight and he should have grabbed our player.
Yeah.
But because he grabbed Klay Thompson, I think they spazzed out.
Right.
But hey, if any Golden State Warriors fans are listening, go suck a dick. Dude. Oh man. No, not your I honestly I got words to say about everybody, but your announcers are so damn biased. I watched the clip where they're just like, Klay Thompson never fights with anybody. What was Jaden McDaniels thinking? Just like, you're watching the replay. Stop being so damn biased. Your boy Klay started the fight. Now knock it off. You're a grown man just being like, well, shame on that other guy. He's not on our team. He's a problem. Like, shut up.
Shut the fuck up. I hate homers. Like, you need to have fans, or you need to have fans announcing or whatever you want to say in the game, but I hate homers like that.
I know, but we don't. If anybody gets to watch our games on Bally Sports right now, because they sometimes will play it on like TNT or whatever if it's a different place.
Yeah, but the local is Bally.
When
then you're getting Minnesota broadcasts. Yeah.
Yes, the most unbiased announcers ever. To the point where every once in a while I'm just like, that's a foul, and they'll just be like, that was a good call by the ref, and I'm just be like, for once, can you be on my goddamn side? Come on. I just want to yell at the TV and have you agree with me. You guys are too unbiased.
I prefer that sort of announcer. I mean, they need to have some hometown spirit though.
Yeah.
There is a too far point in both directions for sure, but I fucking hate it I'm not going to drop any names because I don't want to drink this on any longer, but I fucking hate when they're like,
Sure.
takes a snap, runs, he's driving. Oh my gosh. And the Vikings with a fantastic play, gain a 2 on the drive.
Oh yeah.
What a play that was. Wouldn't you say? And then you go to the color commentator, and the color commentator was like, really great setup. Do you see the line? Like, the line was ready for this. They saw it coming from the beginning, got those 2 yards. They're going to keep moving the chains. And then you go over to the other side, and they're like, yep, visiting team drops back for the pass, throws it, 10 yards, first down.
Yep.
You're like, fuck off.
Right. Yeah. I think I might have brought it up on here before, but like the different announcers can definitely make it sound different. And I think the Simpsons have that soccer game clip where they have like it's like a Spanish speaking, or maybe it's not a Spanish speaking one, but they I have it in my brain that it's Spanish speaking, but it's definitely not Spanish speaking. But they have
with soccer
one side way like it's a different clip that I've seen where the Spanish guy is like way more hype.
Okay.
Than the English speaking one, and I'm like confusing the two in my head. But the one on The Simpsons is like the normal like TV broadcaster is talking about it, and they're just like, Guzman passes to Joe, Joe passes to Guzman, Guzman holds it, and holds it. And then you got the other guy, and he's like, Guzman passes to Joe, Joe passes to Guzman, Guzman holds it.
Yes, exactly.
It's the exact same play, and one guy's just losing his goddamn mind over nothing. Yeah, so
that's it.
It's exactly what it is. Yeah, and clearly, it's a problem all over the world and has been for as long as time, because that Simpsons clip, I'm pretty sure, is like 20 years old. So
right. That's great. Well, let's talk about sports later.
Yep.
Oh yeah, we're not going to do an ad break because this is one of our holiday specials. If you're used to the podcast, we usually do fishing and random takes. Fishing first half, random take in the second half. Fishing, a break right there in between the two of them. We're not going to do that. Go over to patreon.com /RealAFTV. Remember, real like fish and real. Drop us $1 for this one, please. That'd be great. But we're going to do what we always do, even though it's a special. Hit him with that fishing news.
Oh, Jesus.
Tim,
sorry.
That pull of Hennessy was rough.
Dude,
it got stronger with age. That's last season.
What the shit happened? It's just been sitting down here and it tastes weird as shit. It's been so smooth. And this pull was not. I don't know what the hell that was.
Whoa. It got heavy duty. Watch, it's like it's doubled in its percentage.
Don't know what you're talking about.
I got 2 alcohols about that. If we get far enough into Thanksgiving and we're still going strong, which we won't, we'll be overtime. Maybe we'll talk about that at a different time. I got 2 alcohols sitting around that I'm kind of like, I wonder now.
Ooh.
Anyways, fishing news. Here we go. I got this one from the Daily Alaska Empire. November 26, 1930 edition. The day before Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
This fishing news is from November 26, 1930.
They were ice fishing, weren't they?
They were not ice. They weren't.
Oh.
I mean, yes.
I was trying to guess.
I can. We'll get into that a little bit later. Okay. This is the fishing news, and we'll get into why it's from 1930. But it's the day before Thanksgiving, and that's why it's on the Thanksgiving special. Henry O'Malley. Do you have a good Irish accent?
Henry O'Malley.
Smooth, clean. Like that shot of Henny last year, not this year.
Hell yeah.
Okay, he says the U.S. has the strongest. This is a quote. The U.S. has quote. The U.S. has the quote strongest economic position today than those of any of the other large fishing producing countries, end quote. First of all, that's a different way of talking. If I were to sum that up, it wouldn't sound that way. If I were to rewrite that or re-say
Right?
that, it wouldn't sound that way.
Does it sound better with the Irish accent?
Maybe.
The strongest economic position today than those of any of the other large fishing producing countries.
Yeah, it did.
The strongest economic position today than those of any of the other large fishing producing countries.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That
it
did
sounds
sound
better. Still worded weird, but like
right.
they just say
But
stuff
it sounds
weird.
less weird in an Irish accent. So there you go.
Been getting good at my just general delivery Irish accent because
Why?
one of the podcasts I listen to for some reason is not Irish, but all of their ads are Irish.
What?
Yeah, I've been learning
Like
how
they
to
have an Irish VO guy that just does all their ads, or they're like literally from Ireland and they're doing.
just come on down to the toy. It was a Toyota dealership, but they say it like Toyota, but it's like so.
Yeah.
It's just smoother than you would think.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe they have different dialects, but
They
they're
do.
just like, come down to the 2019, check out the Toyota. You're like, what the
Whoa.
fuck?
But
they
they're talking
didn't
about
say
like Dallas Toyota.
Yeah, it's just like come down to this dealership.
So they just have an American Irish voiceover guy that does the ads for them.
Yeah, but there's like
Whoa.
they're all Irish stuff. So I hear the ads for the banks, and I hear the ads for there's like some like a bar chain, like a grill and bar and grill. Why the fuck can't I? What the fuck was in this Hennessy? It tasted weird.
Fuck is in this honey?
But yeah, just I hear ads all the time, and I'm like, oh my gosh,
Crazy,
it's
dude.
so much. Like if I would have read that in an Irish accent, I would have overdone it like crazy. And you listen to it, and you're like, it's so smooth, it's so subtle.
Oh yeah.
I didn't like. Now I'm going to be able to pull off. Like if I ever go to Ireland, I'll just come in just barely doing it, and they'll be like, "He's local.
He's local.
He's not one of those over the top assholes."
Yeah, yeah.
Hey, me Lucky Charms.
Yeah, I could tell he had red hair when he was a kid, and he has the accent.
Oh yeah,
you're gonna.
But yeah. Listen, I'm not 100% sure he's real Irish because he's got the accent, he's got the hair. One shot of Hennessy put that boy away. Oh, I suppose they would have said lad, huh?
No,
shit.
No, they use that too. I think it's the dialect thing. Just depends on where you are.
Yeah,
I don't know, but I think so because that doesn't sound wrong. All right, okay, back to the podcast. So, this was pretty cool because, well, for two reasons, but I'll get into this. So it's 1930. This is fucking 93 years ago, right?
Yeah.
And it was cool to hear him in this particular article recognize the governing bodies that are watching the fisheries and stuff like that, and how they recognize the recreational use of the land too, of the fisheries. And they said the governing bodies are all in, that's a quote, to keep the fisheries in good shape. And it was like, whoa, dude, that's fucking cool. And the reason why that was cool is because I kind of went on like my news from last week when I went solo, which we'll talk about in a minute before we get into Thanksgiving, was about conservation and the DNR and the work that they're doing is like, because the change was to Upper Red Lake and Mille Lacs, where they're changing walleye regs again before hard water season starts.
Yep.
And it was like, whoa, here they are in 1930, and they're realizing like the recreational fisher is important to the fisheries in general, and that these
Yeah.
governing bodies are watching the commercial and the recreational. It was just really cool. And like 1930, 93 years ago, I just wouldn't have thought that that was still a thing. You know, like, I don't know. There's just this view about something that's like damn near 100 years old, that they were just doing things differently, because you just hear horror stories of like, oh, they used to just harvest, hundreds of this and shit like
Yeah.
that. So to hear
I
that from this
totally.
Alaska paper was really cool.
Yeah, you still kind of see it too if you like look at some of like the Russian pictures and stuff.
Yeah.
I don't think they have the same regulations over there, but like
But still.
pikes,
Mm-hmm.
they'll have a stringer of like 12 like 40-inch pikes, and you're like, damn, dude,
Holy shit.
there's no way that's good. Like unless
That
you're
can't be good for conserving population.
yeah, unless your lake looks like, when you just look in the water, it looks like in, was it like Indiana Jones, like Temple of Doom, where they put like that big boa constrictor snake on the thing, and then they like slice it open, there's like a whole bunch of little snakes that like squirm out, and you're like, oh, that's so gross. But like if that's what your lake looks like, where it's just like baby snakes squirming over each other, then it's like, all right,
But they're pikes
whatever.
instead of snakes in
Yeah,
this case, in this scenario.
keep 10 of them. Like if you can't go swimming without getting like northern slime on you, I get it, dude. Get rid of them.
Come out
But-
looking like you just got fucking Mark Summers from Double Dare.
Yeah, exactly. I was just about to say that. Just got slimed, dude.
Gross.
Yeah, Double Dare's too old for some of the people listening. You
That's
gotta
true.
you gotta
That's
just say like the Nickelodeon like Teen Choice Awards, because they'll
There
just
you go.
slime anybody that gets on the mic.
Yep.
Some of it's ridiculous too. There's clips I've seen where they like clearly there's been no like quality assurance. They're just like, that looks like it's aimed about right. Like if you stood right there, that should hit you right. And then the person like starts talking, and that stream of slime like shoots him in the face like a high pressure fucking power
Just like
washer.
upshot.
Immediately the people are just like, oh, just like, man, I think you did some real damage there, Nickelodeon. That looked painful.
That looked like you might need a waiver for that one.
Yeah, and it's not gonna just wash off your face like water, you got slime in their eye. But yeah,
that's fucked
back to that, like that's what I feel like I always saw too. Like how you were talking, like you
Yeah.
look in the old black and white photos,
Right.
it's like two guys that are just as tall as the fish because they grew them shorter back then. And they have a stringer of just like way too many big fish.
Right.
Like,
Right.
what the fuck is that?
Yeah. And so we do have the skewed perspective of it, right? And
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. That's because that's exactly my thought back that far as well. So it was crazy to read that part and go, oh, look at that.
Mm-hmm.
And it was really cool too, because this was about fishing, commercial fishing, mostly, but obviously they wrapped in the recreational, like I said there. But Alaska, had, or I should say, this article had already proof that Alaska was starting to recognize that the techniques and the technology, essentially, that the commercial fishing excuse me, that the commercial fishers were using,
Yeah,
was like outpacing the population. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, before that time, I don't even know how they fished. I don't know if they had corks and they just hand lined stuff. But the 30s was right when you're starting to get like actual like fishing reels and rods and stuff.
Oh, from a recreational standpoint. So
I think that was the era when they started getting like actual like bait casters and rods and whatnot, and the rods were just made out of steel, and
like something that we would recognize as modern fishing gear.
Yeah, like a legit bait caster, but it didn't have the button that you could click.
Yeah,
to like let the line out. But yeah, I think like ice fishing rods back then was just a stick with a poke, like a skewer on it, and then there
Shit,
was
dude,
like a
that was
line.
until
There was like a line. Well, there was like a nail on
2001.
each side though, and then the line was just like wrapped from nail to nail, like a power cord on your vacuum cleaner.
Yeah, dude, I had one of those in the 90s.
Did you? Well,
Yeah.
they made the shit that existed back then, like the Abu Garcia ambassador reels are still that like can style that they started making way back in the 30s. I think is when they started. Don't quote me on any of this era. It's just like when I was looking at, like, I like to find the antiques, but I don't really give a shit about the years too much. I just like the way stuff looks.
Right.
So
Yeah.
it's like that's the stuff I remember being from those years, but I don't know it. You know,
Right.
like I'm not some. I couldn't go to an antiques roadshow and just be like, "Well, this is actually from 1942." Just be like,
Right.
"No,
Right.
I just like the way the old shit looks, and it's cool to
Right.
me." So.
Yeah, you're up on the modern shit, but the old shit, you know, when you see like legit old shit, but you can't go.
Yeah,
This is
because I know the
42.
new stuff so well that when I see old stuff or something unique that's so different than what we have today,
Yep.
I get excited to be like, "That's not something we have today."
Right.
And the
Exactly.
collectors might be like, "It's worth nothing." I'd just be like, it looks cool as shit. I'm
Right.
just here for the looks, man. I don't
Yeah.
care."
Right.
It doesn't have to be like it's a one of one. They only made this with the weird green dot on its nose in 1943. Like, who the fuck cares? I don't give a shit. Give me the
Who
one
cares?
without
It's
the
fucking
green
cool,
dot.
and I know it's old.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what I want.
Yep.
Yeah, dude. Oh yeah. Oh, quick. I want to. This quote here is, "Taking a greater harvest from the waters than before." So that was the quote from the article. That was just like, see, I know
Yeah.
they're getting better, and that's
Yep.
like leads to the conservation of it. And also, I was like, oh, that's a fucking legit quote. I got to pull that out. The majority of it then goes on to just talk about the economics and the weight and the money, and they put like all the numbers with all the zeros in it. Now you see like 1.5 capital M to say million. Nah, dude,
Yeah.
they were like 1, 5, 0, comma 0, 0, 0. It went on. They like wrote out the whole number. I was like,
Oh
I
yeah.
wonder if that's like a reading, like a what is that called when you can read good?
Literacy?
There we go. I wonder if
Is that
that's a
what we're-
literacy rate thing.
Oh damn, dude! I didn't even know. I was like, oh, that's
Yeah,
the
you were
word
right.
that-
I wonder if it's a literacy
Nice.
rate. Like if people just like weren't super literate, but they were able to digest numbers better, like they were more mathematical. Then
Could
I don't
be.
know. But if
To
you're a
me, I was
historian
just-
and you know, fucking hit us up in the comments.
Yeah, for sure. Let us know. But for me, I was just thinking it was more along the lines of just like a newsy boy type thing. And you just have, they didn't have phones and the internet, and there wasn't any like fun stuff to do back then. So they're just like, we have the time. We have like, we want more characters in this story. We want longer runtime for people reading it. And then just, they're just like, last year's haul was 1.500. No, it wouldn't even be 1.5. Would it be? It'd just be like 1,500,000. That's 5 with 7 zeros. And just like
right. Or they read it out. 1,
yeah,
comma 5, like
right.
0, 0, 0. My Newsy Boys isn't on for
Yes.
for a number.
1 0 0 0. There's actually 5 zeros in 1.5 million. Come
Right.
at me, dog. I know I got it wrong the first time. I was just saying a number.
It's
But
just,
now I'm like the old school people back then, and I know numbers too. Okay. 1.5000. I'm now putting a point there though. I want to do it new school. All the zeros don't mean shit when I'm saying 1.5.
I know the zeros don't mean anything anymore. They're just like blow those fucking
Yeah.
zeros with the numbers. Anyways,
But I totally could see it just being like that, where they just had the time.
funny you should say that, because I thought that when reading this article, I was like, this is like some SEO shit. There's just like there's so much text in this small article that it feels like they were just putting in words for entertainment. And for SEO now, you put all those words in there because the more words, the more the engine will favor you because you have all these keywords that it wants.
Right.
And it was
Yeah,
like,
just
dude, that's a fucking weird loop to think about 93 years later.
right. They still do it now, but nobody reads any of that shit. Like, you ever go on
You
to
scroll through
like,
until you find the video.
or you like click one of those pages and it's just like, you'll never believe what they look like now. And you're just like, oh, what do they look like now? And then you
Mhm.
clicked. And then it's just like in 1994. And then it tells you the whole story. And then you click on the next page. And then it's just like tells you the whole backstory. And 7 pages later, you're like, what the fuck am I going to? And then you just close out of it. You're just like, why don't I just Google this? Why am I
Right.
trying to find this on their stupid ass website?
Yep.
But that was back in the day where they're just like, well, nobody had anything better to do.
Well, you
Here's
got nothing better to
17
do. Might as well hang out with me all night. Here I am.
Here's 17 pages on explaining what the 1.5. I keep doing the point. Here's.
It's like impossible in today's age.
Let us explain in full detail what the 1,500,000 different fish are all in this lake. Are they all that many species? Of course not. That would be crazy. There are 1,500,000. They just keep repeating the number.
Just
fish.
keep-
But there are only 7 different species. Now let's break down how many of each species we have in the 1,000,000. I almost said point again. 1,500,000, and they just keep going and going and going and going and going.
Yeah.
And then people are like, "Did you read that article?" And then you get it burned into your head. Yeah,
Right.
1,500,000 fish. Just be like, I know, I read that part too.
It's true. It
Oh,
could
yeah.
happen.
The
All
good
right.
old days where you didn't have to say shit. You get one tidbit of information and drag that shit out for 3 pages long, and then you're Clark Kent up in the Daily Reporter, just writing about nothing. You barely have to work because nobody even realizes you're gone when you turn into Superman.
Just poof.
Poof. Nobody is. Every time Superman's around, Clark Kent's not here. It doesn't really matter. He got his work done.
For real though. Oh shit. Oh, I could. Well, I'm not gonna go on a Superman rant. Let's get into some fucking Turkey Day shit.
What's that from?
Just some random Google search.
Just some guy yelling at stuff. Oh,
He's yelling at turkeys.
yelling at turkeys.
Yeah.
That gobble just did remind me. Just today, my wife posted on Facebook some shit about just being like, hey, to the people that are mad about Christmas music being played so early, where are all the Thanksgiving Day bangers?
Mm-hmm.
And then I come home after and I'm like taking a shit. So TMI if you didn't want to know about it, but we all do it. Everybody poops.
Everybody poops, and still, it's in our DNA.
And
Come
my
home
wife
from work, come home from school, take a dump.
Right. My wife from the other room is just like, did you see my Facebook post today? And I go, yeah. And she goes, what say you? And I go, Thanksgiving. And just like turkey lurkey dee, turkey lurkey da. And just start singing the Adam Sandler Thanksgiving Day song. Just like, suck it, got one.
Got one.
Huh? You had nothing. You got nothing. It's the only Thanksgiving Day song out there, I think. But
so I listened to this group on and off, Kind of Funny. They're they were video game, and they've expanded much beyond that and entertainment and stuff like that. Sure. They made a Thanksgiving banger. That's what they called it.
Nice.
Yeah. Because they had the same thought. It was like, yeah, what the hell? Where are they? The pause for silence while we each take a poll.
Glutton for punishment. Oh, Jesus.
Oh boy. So Tim, last year we talked about some stuff, and we talked about how in 2021 there was a turkey finasco on my side.
Finasco.
Finasco? That's not what I tried to say. Thank you. Fucking bourbon's hitting me harder than I thought it was. that is not a thing. But I said it, so I'm going to keep going with it. There was
I thought maybe it was a play
finasco.
on words. Just like in 2019, we all know about that finasco, don't we? Just like, I don't know, maybe.
So we talked about the turkey that me and my wife tried to make in 2021. It was a herb butter filled turkey.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Everybody shit on it. Well, now
you stuffed it in the skin, right?
Oh yeah.
Yes, yeah, okay.
Yeah, it had herb everywhere. It was under the skin.
And I believe we talked about that. Yep, and I did the same thing, and
yeah,
I got rave reviews. It was a little bit mixed. Mine went well, even though the skin didn't get crispy.
Yep.
Yours have a bunch of weirdos that like dry ass bland turkey.
Yes, that's exactly the conversation we had. You got it. and now it's basically a joke, or I don't know, call it a joke, call it what you will, but we basically got ripped already this year coming into Thanksgiving. Like, you guys can't do the turkey. No doing the turkey. We're like, damn, yo, we didn't know it was that bad. So I now
whatever you uncultured swines.
There's a Traeger in the family now. And I said, fine, we're going to cook it on the Traeger then. I'm not.
Hell
but
yeah,
you guys
dude.
are. And they're like, that's a fantastic idea. And I said, well, there we go.
Yeah, it is. Brine that bitch first.
That's what I said too. So they started talking about brining because I'm not involved in the turkey conversation anymore. So I just let the family start talking. And someone mentioned brining. And I was like, okay, cool. I know how to brine. And they're like, well, okay. And I'm just like, take one of those storage bins and just fucking fill it full of salt water and drop it in there. It's got to stay in there for like a day or something. We'll just use the sink. I'm like, but it has to stay in there for a long time. Gross. Don't put it in the sink.
It has to be cold. Yeah, you have to put it in the fridge, or leave it outside in Minnesota. But it can't be at room temperature.
I'm taking notes just so you know, because I know you nailed the brine turkey, and that's why I wanted to bring it up, because we're gonna brine Traeger the turkey this year, and I'm gonna make sure that happens. Even though,
because if you brine it, then the meat should stay juicy, and then the Traeger should help get the skin nice and crispy and shit. So it should work. But all you really gotta do
sit, so it has to go in the fridge or outside.
Yeah, because it's got to brine for like 24 hours.
Yeah, so it's got to be in like 40 or less.
If you leave it at room temperature and don't cook that bird all the way through, if you just have it in the sink, everybody's getting sick. Maybe let it happen. And then you can just be like next year, like, hey guys, want me to make the turkey this year so we don't all die from salmonella?
Slamonella? More like
more like slamonella, you bitch. Oh man. But no, for real, like it has to be refrigerated, but you can wet brine or you can dry brine. I have not dry brined.
That's right, you can dry brine.
Yeah, I've not dry brined any of the birds, and I'm a little bit scared of it because I feel like the skin might get too salty. So I
see what you're saying.
I don't think I've tried to, or maybe I did dry brine that. Maybe I did dry brine my turkey, and then I went with the herb butter later, and it was worked out well. I can't remember. That was years ago.
I know, and I didn't.
And
I didn't listen back if we recorded that or not.
I should have kept notes. It's just like fishing too. I give pointers on here where it's just like it's good practice, and I know it's great to do. And some of the shit that I say is just in theory is like something I'd really like to do, and then I just don't. Like keeping notes on times of years and what you do. Like I have notebooks that I've done this stuff with, but I don't have it with me all the time. So there's a lot of stuff that falls by the wayside where,
in the moment, right?
Yeah, in the moment, I just don't have it there, and it's like the same thing with the turkey,
Yeah,
where I'm like
sure.
looking up a recipe, and for whatever reason, there's this dumbass confidence in my head where I'm just like, I'll remember it, and it's like I don't remember shit. Why the fuck do we keep saying that?
And also, I do this once a year. Why the fuck would I remember it? But I have that
Why?
same
Yeah,
confidence that you do,
yeah.
Tim. I 100% relate.
I don't know what it is where I'm just like this. I will never forget this. I'm sure the turkey that I've made one time.
Right.
I don't know, dude. It sucks, but yeah, I need to start putting down these recipes, and then if it doesn't work the year before, I think the other problem is too, like you just said, you do this one time a year.
Yeah.
I think we just got to randomly buy turkeys and just be like, you're making a whole turkey? Hell yeah. I need to, get some practice.
Yeah.
So come Thanksgiving, I'm ready. Not
Right.
get a one and done try where it doesn't go like your family,
Right.
where you had one try.
Right.
It didn't go like 100% according to plan.
Right.
And now everybody's like, you're not allowed to make the turkey anymore. Like
Yeah.
I
They
tried
just dunk
one
on us
time.
every year now. Like,
Yeah, I tried one time,
right.
you know?
Uh-huh.
You guys got to dry out the bird and make it horse shit to eat every other year before this, and I do it one year and it didn't turn out great. Now I'm the bad guy.
Right.
The whole reason I took on the turkey duty in the first place is because your turkey sucks shit. It's so damn dry. Everybody.
Because your turkey was dry as a popcorn fart, dude.
Yeah, dude. Super dry and it smelled gross.
But
yeah,
dude, birds do smell gross. Anyway, let's not
they
get off
do.
on that topic.
No, they
Let's
do for sure.
What the
But
fuck?
if it gets, the one good thing about how they smell bad is like if they're even a little bit bad, like the moment you open up the packaging, you're like, oh fuck,
Oh yeah,
we're not eating this
that's a
thing.
good thing. Because
It's like,
immediately. Oh, this
yeah,
burger's fucked.
yeah, the moment you open it up.
Yep.
And if you have any bit of poultry that goes into your garbage, doesn't matter how much.
Yep.
The next time you go to open up your garbage, you're like, oh Jesus, shit, we gotta take that out. What's in there? Wow, that's terrible. I've had that.
Immediately you know that. It's like, oh, that.
The
what
moment,
the fuck?
yeah, I have
Poultry.
like the kind of garbage where you step on the foot pedal and it flaps open.
Yep.
And it's almost
yep.
that like
Like it
throws
wafts
it
it
in
up
your
into your
face.
face.
You hit it and it just like boom, and you go, oh shit.
Yeah,
What the yeah. Because you don't
Smells like
notice it when
bird
you're
shit
at
in here.
home. Yeah. I've had the two where you don't notice it when you're at home and it's smelling a little bit like ripe or whatever. And you go away for like the weekend. Then you come home and like the moment you open the door, you're like, oh, it smells like ass in here. And it's you just have like the smallest, like there was just like chicken juice on that like little foam pad that they have underneath.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. You threw
this,
like the pad in the one garbage. Like,
yeah.
Shouldn't
And
have
that's what it is. It's
Yep.
like whatever. Oh, it's so bad. I don't know why. I think maybe it's just like the worst, that stinky smell even in poop is like it smells like that because of bacteria.
Right.
So like that's just the chicken just has like the worst bacteria out there. And that's why you got to cook it longer than everything else. And
Right.
a little bit of time, you're like, oh my God. If any of that got in your mouth, you're dead. 100% dead. There's
You're
no
just
coming
dead.
back from that.
There's no coming back. You're dead.
No. Yeah. But no, if you go online and check out that brine, I think it's equal parts sugar and salt.
That's right.
How many part of water?
Don't forget the sugar.
Yeah, because it's not just salty. You got to have that sweet and the salty.
Right.
Soaking it in there, and then if you leave it enough time, it'll like absorb into the meat. But if you do the salt or like the dry brine, it's like a weird osmosis thing where like the salt and the sugar will actually draw the moisture out of the meat.
Yes.
And
You've
then the
done
moisture
a dry brine before.
incorporates. Yeah, I've done dry brine on a number of things. And I think I did it on the bird. I just don't remember it.
Right.
And especially after those couple of pulls of Hennessy, I'm just like, but the dry brine draws out the moisture. The moisture like incorporates with that. It like dissolves, and then the bird actually like reabsorbs it. And it not only draws that stuff into the meat, it actually like realigns everything and it makes it more tender.
Whoa.
Like when I say realign everything, I don't know the scientific, I can't,
Yeah,
I'm
the
not going to
terms
try to,
about how you like dry out the
yeah,
muscle and then like
right.
rehydrate the muscle.
Yeah. But
Right.
I've watched the science of things
Mm-hmm.
explained to me multiple
Mm-hmm.
times on
Mm-hmm.
YouTube. And I watched a video of a guy doing like dry brine versus wet,
Oh,
and they both had their like benefits. But the
sure.
wet was just like, oh, but when you do the wet, the skin can get less crispy. But
Sure.
I don't think you have to worry about that on like a Traeger
Because
because it
it's
is heated with like the smoke and the way it's just like
mm-hmm.
giant open air.
Mm-hmm.
I think the
Mm-hmm.
skin is going to dry out really
It's
nice.
just gonna dry out anyway. Yeah.
Yep. And then the other thing I think that really hurt me, if I wouldn't have done it, I think it would have went absolutely fine. But there was something about how they didn't like that the dark meat is supposed to hit a higher temp than the
Oh,
white meat or something. So it
really?
actually showed you to like tinfoil tent
Yeah.
over the chest
Yeah.
of the bird.
Right.
So the rest of it started cooking first, and then you take that off. And I was never able to get the skin to brown up
Because of
because I
that
did that.
technique, you
And
think?
right, yep.
Mm-hmm.
But because of everything else I did, maybe I didn't need to do that. So now that we're talking
Oh,
about it, it's coming back to me a little bit. But maybe if I just would have
yeah.
left it, the
Yeah, yeah,
butter would have
yeah.
melted better. Everything would have heated up more. But everybody liked the turkey. They were like, it's got good flavor. I'm just like, yeah, but the skin is like almost like translucent and rubbery. Like it didn't
Right.
brown up and get
Yeah.
crispy like it's supposed to.
No, that's what happens to our chicken every time we make one. It does that same thing. I mean, I still eat it
Mm,
while I'm ripping up the chicken. I just
yeah.
take some of that gelatin and jam it in my mouth
Right.
because
Yeah.
it tastes good.
Yep.
But it doesn't
But
feel good. Like it's fucked up texture.
yeah. Who's got a Traeger?
My sister's husband.
Okay.
She married
That's
into a Traeger.
exactly who I would have guessed.
Yeah.
I was trying to think of like your family, who would have a Traeger?
Right.
Bingo.
Yep. Yep. She married into a Traeger. So they were gonna take it on and that's when I said it. I was like, well fine, then we should do it in you got a Traeger, we should do it in there. And they were both like, mm-hmm. And I was like,
Mm-hmm.
good deal.
Yeah.
Let's do it. I
And
mean,
I'm sure
you guys
Traeger
do it.
has,
I can't touch a turkey, apparently.
yeah.
I'm gonna play that
Well,
number.
the problem too, yeah, because then you don't have to cook it. The thing too is Traeger probably has their own recipe for it.
That's right.
And then
Is it you
he's
that's been telling me that they like have a really good, I don't know, do they have chefs on hand? I don't know, but they have like a cookbook.
no, that wasn't me.
Somebody told me that who had just gotten. You actually know him, my buddy Adam. We went ice fishing with him
Oh
one
yeah.
time.
Yeah.
I think it must have been him then that he was telling, because he's got a house now, and where he's really gone into grilling. Like he's got like 3 grills,
Yeah.
4 grills or something.
Damn, dude.
Yeah, he went in on it, and yeah, I think it must have been him. He was telling me, he's like, just hit up that Traeger cookbook. Like, really? He's like, yeah,
It
they're good even if you can modify them if you don't have a Traeger, right?
yeah.
Like you can just modify them to even, and they're super good. So,
Right.
yeah, I wonder if it's in there. They probably
Well,
do.
when you
Is what
think
I'm
about
saying.
it too, I've always trusted a lot of different like manufacturers and people that cook and stuff. Not people that cook and stuff, but like different brands
Mm-hmm.
that like give you a recipe.
Mm-hmm.
I've always trusted it because they're not going to give you a horse shit example of whatever
Right.
it is because they want you to talk about how good everything was. They want you to spread word of mouth. So
Right.
they're going to give you a good recipe, even if it's like stovetop. If they're just like,
Yep.
here's something that you can zhuzh up your stovetop.
Right.
That thing that they put on the side of the box isn't to get you to just be like, oh, here's an idea to buy this box. It's so you make that and then you tell everybody about it.
Right.
So everybody goes, really? The cheap stuffing? And then I can do what with it? Oh,
Right.
damn. I'm going to do that for my next. So
Uh-huh.
it's the Traeger's like the same way, and the Traeger makes 100% sense to me where those guys are trying to dial it in, like with the
Mhm.
smoke times.
Mhm.
There, you just put pellets in and it does the work for you. So they have to know that it works, and I'm sure that they've tried
Right.
a million different things, and that's why I trust, like, this is a little sidebar, but like America's Test Kitchen,
Yeah.
that's why I like their recipes, because I know that they're not just making it one time giving you a recipe, because there's so many damn recipes out there,
Right.
like Instant Pot recipes that I find on Pinterest.
We went
And
off on
somebody,
those last year, by the
I
way.
know, because somebody will just give it to you, give you the recipe, and then you go try to make it, and you're just like a mac and cheese in a Pinterest or in an Instant Pot, and then you take off the lid and it's just dry as shit, and you're like, I'm
Yep.
supposed to add cheese to this still. There's no liquid left in this shit. You clearly never made this. You just putting the random ass number on there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just
We went off.
yeah,
We went off
for
on that.
sure.
Yep. It
Yeah,
was pretty
yeah.
funny.
So we don't need to get into it again, but there's so many recipes that are
Yeah.
so obvious that these people never actually made them.
Well, and that's also the thing about cooking in general, right? Is like you don't just get good at cooking. We talked about it last year, but let's just keep going with this topic. It's like you have these um things that you latch onto as you learn how to cook, right?
Yeah,
Even
yeah,
Alton, right? Alton has
yeah.
like a food scientist on his team, and he's very
Hell
interested
yeah.
in the science of food. That's why he's one of our
Oh
favorite
yeah.
cooks. Why Good Eats is one of our favorite things. You know, there's
Yeah.
there's
He's
this.
how I learned about panko, how
That's
panko's made.
right. Yes, and I learned because of you.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
it's one of I have that such vividly. Like, dude, it's like a screen. You electrify it. It's like what? The
Right.
fuck?
Yeah. Real quick, so in case anybody else wasn't listening, since we just touched on it, it's what Josh said. It's like a screen door that they just electrify. It's not like rubber coated or whatever, but it's metal. You put batter over it, you electrify it. Poof, panko. All right.
Fucking
Sorry.
crazy.
I just got to say that in case people are just like, what are they talking about? Screen door? What?
Good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good point. Good point.
Yeah.
I'm glad you said that because it was obviously an experiment that made that happen, and
Yeah.
that's the thing about experimenting. Like you trust Alton because you trust that they've done it, they've tested it, they've tried it, and
Right.
so when a recipe comes out and Alton says it, you just go, okay, I'm gonna do it. America's Test Kitchen. Yep, I
Yep.
believe they spent the time on it. Traeger, I believe, wants their product to look good. They need their
Yeah.
product to look good, so they have hired chefs. They have let them experiment. They have perfected a recipe. Perfected. It's an art, so
Yeah.
say perfected in quotes. And they published it.
Yeah.
They're not going to give you that shitty fucking
Right.
dry mac and cheese.
Yeah. And now
from
more
the
than ever, they need to actually have it, like, I shouldn't say they need to, because it's like a double-edged sword. Like you have the one side of Traeger and like accredited companies like that
Mhm,
that are making great things that people rave about.
mhm,
And that's why you get it. And that's why they're worth the amount of money that they are. And
mhm.
why Traeger is selling, like, dude, I saw it. Have you seen their portable?
No, what?
Dude, it's awesome. It looks like a metal suitcase. I think it's like $300 or $400, but you can just like you
It's like
can
a metal
cook
suitcase.
anywhere. Yeah, it's like a metal suitcase. You can bring it anywhere you want.
No
I'm just
way.
like, that's so awesome that you just have, like, you can go camping and you're just like, here's my metal suitcase. And they're like, oh, Mr. Camper comes out with a metal suitcase and just be like, fuck you, it's a Traeger. Catch a fish and I'll show you what's up, bitch.
Right, right.
But yeah, dude, they want that. But then also, like, as soon as I started saying it, that's why I went back to, like, oh, it's a double-edged sword, because you also have all these bloggers on Pinterest that just saw somebody's recipe that gives you some bullshit long story that they know nobody's going to read anyways, because who reads anybody's description of the recipe?
Right,
It's like, here's your recipe, and then you click the jump to recipe button
right.
where that's one thing too. If you don't have the jump to recipe button, I'm not saving you on Pinterest. Get the fuck out of here.
Get
I'm
out
not
of
going
here.
to scroll down through your whole story trying to figure out which one of these pictures is the actual start of it
Right.
versus just a picture of you. Like, here's a picture of all the ingredients. Here's the picture of once I cracked the eggs and put them in the bowl. Like, we know what to do. But it's regurgitated bullshit because you'll find the same recipe on like 6 different bloggers' page. And
Right.
it's all because they just needed to get something out there. So they're
Yep.
regurgitating what that other person said.
Yeah.
And you had one person that, I don't know, guessed, and then the rest of them just kept saying the same shit.
Right.
And then you go to make it and you're just like, you were at least 2 cups of liquid off here. Like,
Yeah.
wherever you get it from, you did. This is not.
You just didn't try. You didn't experiment with it, right? And
clearly
that's
didn't
the
do
whole
it.
thing.
Yeah.
And just quick thing that you always touch on, and I like to touch on this really quick, just so you know, the Real AFTV podcast is not just regurgitating fucking Wikipedia. I do actually I haven't looked and put in all of my links. I mean, I haven't looked into like putting all my links and shit inside the description and annotating and all this shit. But just know,
Yeah.
I don't read Wikipedia. If I do get to Wikipedia, I dig down first. Like that regurgitating bullshit bothers me too. And that's why there's one of the things we're based on experience and thorough research when
100%.
or complete experience based conclusions. So we may not have done it yet.
EBC.
Oh, EBC, experience-based conclusions. Whoa, that might be some new merch.
Nice.
But what I mean is experience-based conclusions where we'll sit here and we'll brainstorm an idea based on experiments and things that we know.
Right. And there are also times that we'll throw out there stuff that we have from experience and then just be like, oh, I guess there is some science to that later on.
Mm-hmm.
Like, this is real random, but we are a fishing podcast. And since we're getting onto this topic,
let's do it for
I
a
thought
minute.
I would say it. You know how we talk about like before where it's like the wind is from the east, the fish bite the least.
Yeah.
And the wind is from the west, the fish bite the best. So
Yeah,
there
we've
was like
talked about
one
that.
time where I was like, I don't think that's really true. I think it just sets everything up differently. Now that's what I've had in my experience. But I just saw Jimmy Houston talking about it, right? Jimmy Houston, a legend in the fishing game. And Jimmy Houston is like, it's all true. And I'm like, oh, do tell, Mr. Houston.
Yeah.
And then Jimmy hits me with all the different science of the fronts. So like what I said in my experience was not false. That's what it was. But what he says is it's not, like, it's true, because when the fish is from, or the wind is from the west, a lot of times that it means like this warm front.
Oh, it's a warm,
and the barometric pressure when the wind, like often when the wind is coming from this way.
Mm-hmm.
So he's talking about it from a weather standpoint and how the barometric pressure most likely in those situations is because this is what's happening. When you have a warm front, it's coming from this direction. When you have a cold front, it's coming from that direction.
Yeah.
And just based off of general, trends of what wind coming from this way means for the weather, he said that it has something to play with it. So we're both right, because I said that I don't think it really plays. You just have to, approach it differently.
Right.
But he said it. So maybe when the wind is from the east, I'm right in just being like they set up in a different location. And he's right in saying that it's cold front. So then we put the two together.
Right.
He's basically telling you we got to slow down our baits. They're not as active. And I'm telling you got to set up in a different location. We put the two together. We're out there catching fish when the wind is from the east.
Yeah, dude. Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure. That is great. What a good sidebar.
Sidebar. Yep.
That was a good sidebar.
So
that's the shit that we normally talk about on the Real AFTV podcast. Just doing a little Thanksgiving conversation, we'll call it.
Right. So it's that same thing where we're talking about, like, putting in pasta and putting in the and the juice and stuff, where I'm just like, oh, they didn't put enough liquid in here. There's
Yeah.
not a single person in this world that's just going to be like, actually, you used the wrong pasta. Suck a fart. I used elbow macaroni like they said. There's no way I could have used a different elbow macaroni that would have made this recipe make sense.
Right.
They did something wrong.
Yeah. They regurgitated a fucking recipe that wasn't well tested. And again, that's why these companies, you're like, I'll trust them because they've tested. They know, they've tried, they've hired, even though the chefs aren't credited, probably, they hired chefs to make this shit right.
100%. And they didn't just do it once. There's probably a whole field of 20 Traegers going.
Right.
And they tried something different on each one.
Yep.
And then they go, what happened with yours? Just be like, I don't know. It's awesome. And then the other guys goes, what happened with yours? It's awesome. And then everybody goes, they're all awesome? They just be like, this Traeger's a pretty good machine, I guess. I don't know.
So we talked about the Instant Pot. The one pot, whatever. Last year we used as interchangeable. Yep. Now, this year, or while I'm tying this in, is the Instant Pot macaroni and cheese never works out. Probably.
Not true.
We are becoming, I think,
made it work.
We might becoming the mac and cheese people.
Because you make the mac and cheese. Dude, let me, before you say that it doesn't work, let me tell you, I got a recipe.
You do?
This fucking bomb in the Instant Pot. You just gotta figure it out.
Is it one that you've done what we're just talking about?
Yeah, dude.
It's yours, right? Like you went off of somebody's other shit and made it yours, and now it works?
So I made it mine within the cheeses and stuff, but I found a recipe that actually makes sense within like the amount of liquid that you use. Okay. Because they add some liquid after the fact too. Not just like, here's this and then add cheese. Bada bing, bada boom, you're done.
You're done.
Yeah.
Cheesy noodles.
This one, I'll tell you, I got it down in my brain already because here's what makes it really easy. You get one of those chicken stock boxes, right? Yeah. So not or chicken broth.
Either way. That's a tough one. I think we've debated over that before. They're different. They're the same.
Yeah. I think one's a little bit saltier. I forget which is which, but it doesn't matter.
It's a tough game to dance around. We'll move on past it today, but
here's the beautiful part about the Instant Pot macaroni and cheese, that when you get it rolling, if you use a pound of macaroni, 4 cups of liquid, because we're adding, I forget how much cream it was. Heavy cream. Maybe it's like a half a cup. I think it might be a half a cup. No, it's 2 cups. 2 cups of heavy cream. I think it was 2 cups.
You got it.
So it's 2 cups of heavy cream, I think. So here's the deal. You put in 4 cups of chicken broth with your elbow macaroni. That's one of those, like the 16, I don't know, maybe not 16 ounce, 24 ounce, the skinnier boxes of chicken stock. That's 4 cups. You don't even need to measure it.
Oh, yeah.
Screw off the top, turn that bitch upside down, and squeeze it until it's gone.
Squeeze it in.
And then, and then you put it in. Yeah, and then you put it in with the elbow macaroni. And then you put the lid on, and you put it on high pressure for 5 minutes. And then when the 5-minute timer is up, you let it sit for 5 minutes before you click your button to let the steam out.
Oh, let the steam get back in. Let the moisture kind of get back in.
You just 5 minutes is just, even within an Instant Pot, it's not quite fast or long enough to cook the pasta fully. It seems. So I don't know. It's like it takes a little while to get it up to temp, and then pressure cook, and then 5 minutes after that, click the quick release, let the steam out, let the people know that you're about to do it in your house, unless you want to scare the shit out of them. That's up to you. You give them a heads up and hit it, because it's just like,
right.
It's loud.
It's a pressure cooker.
It's so loud when you hit that button, like straight away when you do the quick release with all the pressure in it.
Oh yeah,
it's just whistles, man. But so you hit that button, you take 2 cups of heavy cream, splashed it in there. So now you got that creaminess and there's more liquid. So you don't have a lot of the liquid left, and it seems like it's almost too much. But here's the deal with this recipe, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's getting liquidy. Now
Yeah.
what I've been doing is it's only 7 ounces of cheese. So you can go and get your own recipe and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But here's the deal. I like the way that this is set up, and I like their blend. Walmart has a great value bag that is called a casserole blend. And the casserole blend is like cheddar and American cheese. So it melts really nice.
Yeah, dude.
And it's only 7 ounces in that bag instead of 8 ounces.
Oh.
So I take 2.5 of those bags. Blah, blah, blah. And then that's like 14 plus 3.5 is 17.5 ounces. And I think it calls for like a pound of cheese. So I'm a little bit more than what they said.
Mm-hmm.
But
of
you
course.
stir that all up, and then you have this beautiful, nice, like runny mac and cheese. It's not, it's like it's kind of like a soupy consistency.
Mm-hmm.
But here's the deal. When it's done in the Instant Pot, you put that in a pan, sprinkle a little bit of cheese on it, and finish off in the oven. You know what I'm talking about? Put it in. You get
Hell
that, like,
yeah, dude.
cheesy crust on the top.
Yeah.
And what I put on the top of it, because I like the coloring of it, is a little bit of pizza cheese. And pizza cheese is just mozzarella and cheddar. So you can, if you had your own cheese, just shred a shit ton of cheddar, throw some American in there.
Yep.
And then at the end, put a little bit of cheddar and then a little bit of mozzarella. I just like the white, how it, like the coloring on the top when it browns up.
Yeah.
Where it's like that, like kind of, light and dark spots and stuff. And then once it browns up in there, the noodles kind of like, like the sauce thickens up a little bit. It's still a little bit runny, but the beautiful part about how it's runny like that is if you don't finish it all that day, the next day when you microwave it, it's like a little bit thicker, but it's not.
But it's still
just
runny.
Dry as shit.
That's the fucking key, dude. That's what I'm looking for. That's why I wanted to have this conversation, is because that's what we've been working on. So when, I don't know if you saw, you said that blend is cheddar and American, I think the casserole blend is.
Yep. Yeah, I think that's all it is.
So we started throwing American cheese in our mac and cheese sauce. And it was like, that was the fucking game changer. And I was like, oh shit, dude, it's American cheese. There's something about American cheese that's super melty. And then we started doing that. And then somewhere, like, we started doing that in the spring, I'll say, maybe the early summer.
Yeah.
And then we were watching a Bobby Flay show.
Oh yeah.
And they were talking about burgers. It was like a burger show that had Bobby Flay on it, actually. Like, he was like in there and he goes, ask anybody. Anybody will tell you the perfect cheese for a cheeseburger is American cheese.
Yeah.
The melt. You can't get that melt in any other way. It's like, it's just perfect for it. Just get American cheese. And it started to click for me. And I'm like, oh, motherfucker. The ticket is American cheese. So do you know the blend that they're doing in there? Like, does it tell you on the bag? Does it say this is like a 50-50 blend, or?
I don't know if it says 50-50, but it says that it's the mix between the two.
Okay.
I can Google it real quick.
Is it all yellow? Like, are they both yellow? Is it yellow American and cheddar?
It's like an orangish.
Yeah. Yellow, orange. You know what I mean?
But
it's all the same color, right? You can't really, like, you can't look at it like pizza cheese and say, if I were to lay this out, this is 40% cheddar and, 60% Mott's. You can't do that with this casserole blend that you're talking about.
Right. No, you can't tell the difference.
You can't tell the difference between, you just know it is because it says that. Okay.
Yep. And it does say limited edition, so I don't know how long it's going to be available for, because it says limited edition right on the thing, but it says that mild cheddar and pasteurized processed American cheese. It does not say how much of which, but it says that right on the front. Yep.
Still.
And 7 ounces equals, like, if you're more into the cups, it's 1 3/4 cup.
Okay.
So that's what you're dealing with. A lot of times, recipes will tell you that you need like 2 cups of cheese or whatever. And 2 cups of cheese is what a normal bag is. For whatever reason, this one's a little bit less. I don't know why it's 7 ounces.
They fucking knew the recipe, dude.
Right. Maybe there was maybe it's not a 50-50 and there was no way for them, that's the number that made sense for them to get the right ratio,
That's a good point.
Because if it was 50-50, you could make it any size you want.
Yeah. So you could maybe reverse math that situation, reverse engineer that to
Maybe
say it's
Yeah.
1 cup of cheddar to 3/4 American or something like that.
Exactly. Or the other way around.
Or the other way
maybe.
around. Yeah.
Who
You'd have
knows?
to experiment with it like we were just
Yeah.
talking about, right?
Right, exactly. Yep.
Holy
So maybe
shit.
that's what we're dealing with.
That's crazy, dude. So
Yeah.
diving into that even further here, I don't even know if we're going to get to the second part that I did research on and fucking had a good old time. We'll touch on it real quick and then we'll leave. But
Sure.
so I started to dive in because I learned that American cheese is just a combination of cheeses.
Oh, yeah.
It's
Yeah.
not cheddar. It's not mozzarella. Those
Right.
are their own kind of cheese. It's not Colby.
Right.
That's I think a bad example because no, Colby's his own
Colby's
cheese.
multiple. It's kind of like 2 cheeses
Because
together.
Colby
That's why
Jack, right, is what it's normally called, and I think we've just
Yeah.
So it's not
That's why there's more
Parmigiano.
than one color.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right. So
It's like yellow
it's not
and white.
Parm, and it's not Brie, and it's not it's not its own
Right.
cheese. American
right,
cheese is a
right,
blend
right.
already by nature, and so I started to look into that, and I'm like, okay, so if American cheese is the perfect cheese for a cheeseburger because the way it melts, and it's what's changing our mac and cheese, there has to be something there that's missing. So I looked at the ingredients list. This is all I did. I just looked at the ingredients list.
Yeah.
And it says cheddar, mozzarella, whey, and some preservative.
Right.
Or salt
Yeah.
and some preservative,
Yep.
So if you get white American cheese, that's pure American cheese. The yellow American cheese has one other ingredient in it, yellow food dye. Or I shouldn't say food dye. It's a yellow so it could be turmeric, right? It doesn't matter what it is.
Sure.
They
Yeah.
usually don't use like yellow 5 like on the side of a Mountain Dew can. They do usually
Right.
use something else. So that's the difference between a yellow cheese and a white American cheese. It's literally some sort of food coloring. Whey was the only thing that I could figure out that would be the difference. Like, is it whey? Curds and whey?
It could be. It could be because whey is just the liquid that's left after the curds form.
Yeah.
So
it's like what separates from the cream or something. Like it's not totally
exactly.
that, but kind of.
No, it is what it is because when you make cheese curds or whatever, the cheese is what's left, was what it turns into, and the whey is the liquid that's left over.
It's left over.
It's not like a cream. It's just kind of like a liquid.
Right, it is a liquid, yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
like I
remember
couldn't find
drinking
it to buy it really, but when
They
I
had-
did, it was like a local farm, and they had fucking 1 gallon water jugs, milk jugs full of it.
Yeah, we did it in school.
What?
We made cheese curds and we ate the cheese curds, and they were like, "Try some of the whey," and they're like, we drank it, and we're like, "Oh, it's weird by
Tastes like
itself."
shit.
It's just, yeah. But I guess that was.
Did you
just
do like home ec or something? Because we both took the same cookbook chemistry class, and I don't remember doing that.
Yeah, I don't remember what it was. I don't remember, but I remember doing it for sure. I remember trying, and I remember trying that. There was a couple like weird summer school shits that I did too when I was younger. Like my mom would just sign it up.
Right.
Not like summer school, like I had to go get extra credits. Like it was just like some activity.
Extra
Like I remember,
curriculars.
Yeah, it was like I remember like dissecting sharks in the middle of summer too.
Holy
like where it was just like
shit, dude. That's bad.
you just go up to like the school and they're like, oh, here's your extra class or whatever, and I'm just like, what? Why the fuck did my mom sign me up for
You
more
want me to do
school?
what to a shark?
Yeah. What? Yeah. Just I remember. I'll still never forget that smell. I was like, damn, dude, this is fermented.
Formaldehyde, dude. You can
shit.
never forget that smell. Also, the first time you ever got a deer, have you got a deer yet?
I've not got a deer. Does that smell?
You will never forget that smell in your whole life. The
Really?
next time you're gonna go, that's flesh.
Does it smell like people? I've killed people. Just kidding.
People's way weirder, dude.
I've not killed people. That was Jason did that. It was alter ego or whatever, but maybe who, I don't know. I lose chunks of time. No, what were we talking about before that?
We were talking about whey
or whatever,
and how you've actually had whey or made whey. Even I'm not even sure how it exists because I just tried to. I thought it was like the X factor. I was like, that's the fucking thing that you need to make creamy cheese.
It could be because, well, the pasteurization too. It's like different, or the processing.
Okay.
Of the cheese is different, and it does something to it. And I don't know if it's just like you just put all this in there and then you stir it for a long time, like how you take cream, and if you whip it for long enough, it becomes whipped cream, you know, that kind of thing. But I know, like, have you had a Deli Express sandwich? Have you had so Deli Express sandwiches, like the turkey and cheese, where it's like the two triangles in the package next to each other? That cheese is damn near melty straight out of the fucking fridge, dude.
Oh, it like sticks to the packaging half the time.
Yeah.
You're like, how the fuck do they do that?
So it's like, I think they just, whatever they put in there, where it's like that cheese would never be able to be put into like a Kraft Singles style wrapper, and you'd never be able to
stick, and it would only stick.
Or
okay,
if you try to put it on anything, it would just get all weird and melty because at a cold temperature, it's already melted. Like once it's on the sandwich, it's fine.
Right.
But you can't handle it any other way, I don't think. So I think it all just, I think the American cheese is a tricky one because I think it all depends on who's making it and how, like what they're making it for.
Yeah.
Because you can just make it into like a million different things. And because it's this vague, weird cheese, that it's just into American. Because think of like a Kraft Singles.
Yeah.
Is, or think of like a Velveeta. You go to open up a Velveeta when it's room temperature.
Right.
That is like almost creamy, like a dip almost, but like way thicker. Like, yeah. So it's
like
weird.
You can already see the makings of a chili cheese dip when you open the fucking Velveeta.
You see it. Yeah. You're just like, well, we're
halfway there, baby.
Yeah, we're halfway there. It's there. I don't even know if we need to heat it up. You know, it's like just put some chili in the bowl and we just.
If I just put chili on top of it, does it just turn into dip?
Right. This is like a white trash cheese log. Yeah,
you make a good point. I mean, but though that's exactly it. Like here I am trying to dissect the like, well, this is all the ingredients there are. So there has to be like a silver bullet here that's missing. But you're 100% right, because you can also get American cheese that like you can get American cheese in the singles, in the Kraft Singles packet. Then you can get it in like the fucking brick where it's just like overlapping pieces of cheese, which have clearly been sliced up from a block that is the same size, but they've just pre-sliced it. And then there's fucking Velveeta that doesn't even have to be refrigerated. It's just sitting there.
There's another kind of like Kraft too, where it's like they call it something fancier, and it's in like a shinier blue wrapper. Okay. And it's that kind of like overlapping cheese where like they don't make it quite as soft. So you can peel it apart, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like back in the day, we worked at Burger King. You got those overlapping pieces because then you
Exactly,
can just
just
peel
like
them
that.
off. You got one side, you peel it off. The other side, you can peel
The
it
other,
back.
yeah. Yep.
Like each side is just
And you just
slightly
remembered
overlapped
it, were you
'cause-
top or bottom, left
yeah,
or right, or
there's
however
no
you set your
yeah,
cheese.
and
it
there's
would-
there's
right.
nothing separating it. You can just peel the pieces off. But
Right.
Kraft has to be individual wrapped.
Kraft
because
singles.
if you did not have those wrapped, I think they'd all just mold into one chunk.
They would just melt back together as you got it home. Yeah, that's
You
a
just
really good
open it-
point, though. It's like you have to pick
No,
your
I just-
American cheese. What?
I just pictured it just being like a melty pile, like for whatever reason it has like eyes and stuff, and you open it up and it's just like, if you want to take water, you have to take it all. It's like, I don't want it all. I only need one piece on this cheese.
Oh my god, the voice is perfect though.
That's why I started laughing, because it's just like, that's what I heard, you know?
Right.
What I said is what I heard, and that's what made me giggle.
So good, dude. Oh my god. Okay. You know what? All this other stuff doesn't even matter. I just want to go back to the beginning quick and say the quick fishing news from the Daily Alaska of 1930 was because I went to the Library of Commerce again.
Yeah.
For the Thanksgiving story that wasn't just food. But we're already at it.
Oh, yeah.
We're already over an hour, so we'll wrap this up. But I went back to the Library of Commerce and I looked up newspapers of the 1930s and the date, and then I just looked up the word Thanksgiving along with it. And this Alaska paper popped up. It was like one of the older ones of 1930, and it was like the day before Thanksgiving, kick ass, because they took Thanksgiving off, so it was hard to find anybody that published a paper on Thanksgiving.
Ah, yes.
Yeah. So that's how I actually ended up with that fishing story, is it would just so happen to be the original Thanksgiving episode that I had planned. And then I was like, we're going to talk food though. And of course we made an hour out of food. So,
Right.
But that was that. Whoops. Shit. And that's why we ended up
Sounded
where
like the Netflix thing.
What's that?
Sounded like the beginning, like when you turn on Netflix. Doom.
So yeah, that's where the fishing story came from. It came from this newspaper. I just was looking it up. And quick thing is to put that article into a little bit more context.
Mm-hmm.
This was the Great Depression still. So to hear that the economic state of American fishing was like the best, was like, whoa, that was crazy to hear, because super hard times for America as a whole. It was the Great Depression.
Right.
This was 1930. Prohibition didn't end until 1933. So there were articles in this paper about prohibition officers and shit like that. And Alaska wasn't even a state until 1959. It was only a territory. So
That's crazy.
yeah.
I'm also thinking about like the Newsy Boys now, with the whole like not being able to have booze and all the different numbers. They're just being like, it's 1,500,000. They're just be like, God damn. How did you take away my whiskey? All of these numbers, no whiskey. This
is ridiculous. I need a prescription for this shit now. I gotta go lie to my doctor.
You know, I can't read all these numbers without my juice. What the fuck would they call it back then? Not juice, sauce.
Yeah, sauce. I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I gotta get on the sauce. See.
Oh, that's great. Anyways, Tim, that's a wrap. We fucking just talked Thanksgiving food the whole time. Of course we did. We're food
now
people, motherfuckers.
I think I'm on a like just a real creative concoction right now. little bit of Hennessy, little bit of energy drink. And the two together has just got my mind going when you were just like, we made an hour out of food. And my brain is just like, and we'll make some food out of an hour. And then, and then, and then we got the cheese blob in the fridge. It's just like, au revoir. We're sorry about it. Oh, my brain is just doing weird things right now. It's a concoction.
But it's working.
Oh,
But it's
over
fucking
here.
working.
I'm trying to stay on point here, but my brain is playing these weird ass movies every time you say another line.
Oh, fuck yes, dude. I love it. So good.
Oh man.
All right. Well, I'm still gonna do it, even though it's a Thanksgiving special. Like, subscribe, all that shit. Please leave a review and let us know how you like these holiday ones, because man, you guys showed up for the Halloween one again this year.
Yep.
And it's great to see, because it's not our wheelhouse. It's not where the channel of YouTube. I'll just stick with YouTube because I know that they have an algorithm that specifically wants you to just do one thing on a channel. So, yeah, it's cool to see you guys show up for these holiday specials, even though they're not fitting into the fishing realm of things. So that's fucking cool. And thank you. Leave a review, leave a comment, all that shit.
Yeah. And if you're leaving in a review or a comment and you got a recipe, you got some mac and cheese that works, you got some turkey that works, you got a brine, you dry brine, and whatever you got going on, hit us up. Let us know.
Big time.
I'd also like to touch on, because we didn't really get on it at all. This is the Thanksgiving special, but like Josh said, last episode he did go solo because I was feeling under the weather.
Thank you.
And I wasn't.
Let's wrap up on
like
that.
The sickest in the world. I know Josh should open it up with saying like he's so sick, and what it really was is I was just so damn run down, dude.
You're right. That's what I really meant.
It's okay. I'm just trying to let everybody know that like I wasn't on my deathbed or anything. I wanted people to know that I'm okay. That day and that whole week, like I was fighting off something. I had a temp of like 102 something is what I recorded, but I'm pretty sure it was higher than that at one point in the night, because I'm like full sweatshirt. I got thermal Carhartt pants on underneath the blanket. I'm wrapped up in bed and I'm just freaking shaking because I'm so cold. And I'm like, I don't know what's going on. And I'm trying to do my work, and I'm working extra long hours on top of everything. And it's not my choice to be doing this, but it's what ends up happening. And that day, like we were talking back and forth, like, yeah, dude, let's do it. We're going to talk about fishing and all this stuff. And I apologize because I know the episode before I left for vacation, I was like, tune in next time when I talk about what happened on the Florida trip. And this time is like, we were supposed to do that, but then it didn't go according to plan because I was under the weather and I was just so damn run down. That day I was confident it was going to be done. And like, I'm getting close to being done, and I text Josh, I'm like, dude, I got to take a nap before I even drive back.
Home.
I cannot handle driving right now because I'm fairly certain I'm going to fall asleep on this drive home. So I have to do what I can. So I just didn't have any energy. I don't know what mono is like, but I could imagine it was somewhere along the lines of that, where you're just like, I just can't do anything right now.
Keep my eyes open.
And it would have been a disservice to anybody listening too, where I just would have been on there and just been like, yeah, I did go to Florida, and there is fishing and but it's, so I apologize for that last one. That was the first episode either of us ever missed. Your streak's still going, but I broke my streak. I haven't. I missed one now, but as far as the Florida fishing trip, we're still going to talk about it, and
for sure,
on the next episode is when you should be hearing that, when
we get back to our regular random takes, for sure.
Exactly. And as long as something else doesn't come up, did did an episode while I had COVID, and
Right.
I had more energy then. Also, back then I knew like tomorrow I sleep, you know. As like, but that was actually a
Right.
not.
Right.
I actually don't think that was a known at that time. Like that day I got COVID. That day I knew I had something, and then it turned out to
Yeah.
be COVID.
Yeah. Yep. I think
So
that's what ended up
it
happening. It's
hadn't
like
like
you were in the early stages still.
right, and it
Yep.
hadn't fully kicked my ass.
Yep.
And when we were going to record that last episode was like 2 days after the fever, so my body's trying to get back to normal, and I just it was just not going well. So again, I apologize for missing that one, and if anybody was looking forward to hearing the trip to Florida, because I did tease it on the episode before that one. Florida. Yeah, I apologize that I threw a wrench in the timeline, but we'll get to it.
Hell yeah, we will, dude. We definitely will. We kind of planned that whole episode prior to this one.
Right. And I got some interesting stuff to say. It's if you're taking a trip to Florida, come in and tune into that one and hear what I got to say, because I got a way for you to save some money. And if you're looking to go for a charter, or maybe I'll steer you in a different direction. We don't need to get into all that now, but I got some interesting stuff. Yeah, I've lived it and learned it.
Right. And that's what we're about here.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right, dude. Sick. Well, till next episode. This was a good turkey episode. Yeah, man.
Hell yeah. There's that cheese blob in the fridge.